Hello, GreenFin 22. Morning. Yeah, so great to have you with us. I'm Joel McCower, co-founder and chair of GreenBiz Group. I've got 4-ish minutes to do 4 things, which ain't gonna happen, but let me try. First of all, welcome. This is our 4th GreenFin, but we started the 2 aside our GreenBiz conference in Phoenix, Arizona for 2019 and 18 and 19, or 19 and 20. Last year we had a standalone event virtually. But this is the first time we are all together and could not be happier than to have all of you amazing, good-looking people sitting here before us. So welcome to GreenFin. For those of you who don't know us, GreenBiz Group, based in Oakland, California, we're a digital media and events company. We convene communities, 4 major communities that we convene. Climate tech, all those technologies. I don't need to explain to most of you what these terms mean. The circular economy, the business of sustainable business, the profession of sustainable business, and ESG and sustainable finance. And we have a conference that's attached to each of those, digital media properties, newsletters, and the like, and increasingly peer-to-peer networks that are attached to each of these. Our Verge conference, this is the 2022 lineup. Some of these are gone. This is the 3rd of 4. Verge is the climate tech, circularity, obviously. GreenBiz is the profession of sustainability, and here we are at GreenFin. So when we started planning for this event a year ago, it was kind of a heady time for us in sustainable finance and ESG. We thought this would be a little bit of a victory lap. Look at us, trillions of dollars flowing in, the investors taking interest, companies leaning into net zero and all these things, and much of the world starting to finally utter the letters E, S, and G. It's a little bit different time right now. We're finding that obviously, first of all, some monies are flowing out now. The criticisms are coming in where the ESG is being criticized, trivialized, weaponized by those who, for whatever reason, want to see us not succeed. And so this is an interesting time. And some of this is okay. Some of this is good. For a long time, we got a free pass. We were under the radar. We were the new kids. We were early adopters. We were early movers. And we were, of course, doing God's work. And we did not see necessarily as part having an impact, or at least tied directly to the business of business. Well, all that's changed. And now we have politicians, regulators, activists, and the media looking at this and saying, well, maybe not. Maybe this is not exactly as it seems to be, and calling us everything from woke capitalism on one end to greenwash on the other. So we find ourselves in this moment with these incredible tailwinds, the Paris Agreement, concern about climate change, companies' commitments and achievements, and these headwinds of everyone saying, well, wait, not so fast. Maybe this isn't necessarily a good thing. And this is not a fleeting moment. This is sort of our new reality. And if you saw, as many as you, I'm sure, did, Justice Thomas's comments on the opinion last week in Roe v. Wade, he talked about that maybe some of these things can apply to contraception or same-sex marriage or gay rights. And right behind that is climate change on the agenda. In fact, not even. Sometime in the next 48 hours, we're going to hear from the Supreme Court about West Virginia versus EPA, which, if it goes the way it could go, will say that the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency does not have the authority to regulate greenhouse gases. That's the reality in which we're living. So what are we going to do? How are we going to respond? Are we going to retrench, fall back? Are we going to cower? Are we going to lean in and stay the course and keep, are we going to keep our heads down? Or are we going to double down? Those are the questions. How we respond to this moment will determine everything that happens from here on. So, I hope that we will lean into this moment. The politics as well as the professional side of all of this, because this is, as I said, our new reality. We can't really understand where we're going if we don't also take a look at what's joining us along the way, what's in our way, what are the threats and obstacles that we face. So I hope that'll be part of the context for this event, because that is how where we are in this moment. But I want to stop there and talk about something much more pleasant. We at GreenBiz take enormous pride in growing talent. We hire emerging leaders, young professionals, put them in positions of power, and watch them and us flourish. And there's no better example of that than Grant Harrison, who I'm about to bring to the stage. When Grant came into this role a year ago, he embraced it in a way that we've never seen anybody embrace anything in our company, and has built this community, built this program, all while doing his weekly newsletter, GreenFin Weekly, which comes out every Wednesday, which I hope you'll subscribe, and of course, his column On the Money. And in fact, Grant Harrison is on the money. We all know our $50 bill Grant. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our senior analyst and director for GreenFin, Grant Harrison.
That was awesome. All right, you got my clicker? Yes. Well, my beard doesn't match the bill anymore. Let that get out of control. I have a lot to be grateful for here, so I will start with the people that make this convening possible, the many sponsors and partners, our esteemed advisory board group, many folks of which are in this room with us today, serve as something of a brain trust for this event coming from across the ESG ecosystem. And a shout out to some of our media friends in the room, Financial Times, Bloomberg, Morningstar among them, in addition to our wonderful web of GreenBiz contributors. And to all of you, lovely, beautiful, brilliant people in this big, beautiful room with us for this first in-person GreenFin event. I don't know what we'd be doing here without you, and you could have been anywhere on this fine 28th day of June, but you're here with us, and we deeply appreciate that. For those of you in this GreenFin community who I've gotten the chance to know over the last couple of years, it is so cool to see you sat in one room in the real life here together for this first in-person event. And as the memorable magnet on my childhood friend's refrigerator said, there is no such thing as a stranger, just friends you haven't met yet. So hello to all of our new friends. I'm not going to ask you to close your eyes or take a deep breath or do anything particularly pensive in this moment, but as Joel alluded to, this moment that we are living and working through in sustainable finance and investing is a pretty profound one. If you're in this room with us or joining us from the live stream, then it's likely not lost on you what it feels like to be working and living in this moment. And many folks in this room have been working tirelessly, building the foundation that we are now standing on at this relatively busy intersection of capital markets and sustainability, long before the world seemed to all tune in, seemingly all at once, long before these ESG letters loomed so large in the public's consciousness, and for many, long before I showed up on this pale blue dot that is so shrouded in carbon dioxide. And all those combined decades of dedication and devotion filled the tanks that fueled this explosion that the ESG space saw these past couple of years. But naturally, explosions do produce reverberations. And again, if you're in this big, beautiful room with us, you probably know what those reverberations sound like and feel like. Notably, though, the texture and tone of the current ESG pushback is not at all homogeneous. For some folks, it's a Trojan horse that is encasing a woke agenda. For others, this is great. It's a welcome and auspicious change that's taking place at the core of how capitalism functions, or at least close to the core, how value is ascribed and attributed and accounted for, but it's nowhere near enough. And for many, many more, this ESG edifice that we're all building is just perplexing. How is it built? What is this thing made of? Who is managing the construction site? How do the internal systems function? Quite importantly, why are we building this in the first place? To whose benefit? To what's benefit? And importantly, for all of us in this room, how can you keep building more floors when you don't have concrete answers to the aforementioned questions? Building analogy over. So clearly, we are at a critical juncture, question being, what will we do, as Joel alluded to. Can we keep this proverbial train on track, moving toward that final stop that is sustainability in the real economy on this earth that we inhabit and share? Can we up our game and demonstrate unequivocally that by aligning capital flows with sustainable outcomes, we can actually meet this terrifying and exciting moment? And that's why you're all here, to share with each other, learn from one another, commiserate, collaborate, and importantly, given the brevity of life, always celebrate. And therein lies the lofty goals for these next 2 days, to catalyze the conditions for all of you to succeed, yes, individually in your roles and in your own organizations, but hopefully also for one another and for this GreenFin community.